Hello there, good afternoon. I hope you're well. If you can see behind me, I am currently in the process of chopping some moss poles that I had left. So in my recent plant clean out video, it was like an hour and a half long, I mentioned I had several plants in the bathroom that I had to take care of, most of them being moss poles that were way long overdue. So I've currently chopped several of them. I have 2 left, and those are the 2 that I'm going to focus on for this video. It's going to be my beautiful big Marble Queen and my Jessenia, so both Epipremnum Pothos plants. Marble Queen has been on the pole the longest, and I've chopped her a couple times, 2 times already, and I filmed everything that I did with her. Jessenia has not been chopped yet, so she will be getting chopped for the very first time. They are both extremely overgrown, and I haven't decided how I want to chop them, but I'm gonna bring them out of the shower. They're still in there, and we're gonna figure it out. The plants that are here, I haven't actually repotted or extended yet. I just chopped them. So my goal is to kind of take care of them at the same time so that I can just boom, 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 knock them out. I can do all my moss poles at once, repot them all at once and everything. So yeah, I'm excited to get my poles finally taken care of. There is a couple more in my plant room that are pretty much ready to either be chopped or do something with, but I think I'm gonna hold off and do those a different day because it's not like super urgent. These are the ones that were really overdue. You can't really see, but I have several props down there that I'm kind of callousing over. I'll have micans. I chopped my Epipremnum albo. That one hasn't been chopped yet. I took my Syngonium albo all the way off, and I chopped my Monstera siltepecana. I took my neon all the way off, and then there's also Monstera dubia down here that I'm gonna restart on a pole for the 3rd time, because every time I tried to put it on a pole, it's overgrown and it fell off the pole and it was pretty much pointless. So got it all chopped down again, and we're gonna restart one more time. You can see micans actually there. I decided to go ahead and just chop the base. I wasn't gonna chop that one or anything, but since I found some mealies on it, I wanted to go ahead and just chuck the base, the soil, and I'm gonna make sure I spray it off in the shower once I get my pothos out of there. Really, really good. And that one I think I'm actually gonna keep in the dining area in the corner here. That way it's not going back into my plant room. And I haven't decided which ones are gonna make it back into my plant room besides like the pothos. I think those are the only 2. Maybe, I haven't decided. It's pretty crammed in there, and then after I get all these poles and everything back in there, I'm gonna film my plant update tomorrow. So my goal is to get all these done this afternoon. So I figured I would just take you along with some of this with me, mainly focusing on the pothos. So thank you for watching and spending time here with me this afternoon, and I hope you enjoy this video. I figured I would just give you a little peek at what I have going on. So that is my Epipremnum albo. It is chopped. I just have to replant it and extend. These were the bottom parts of the poles that I have taken off, so I'll probably use some of these for the extension. I just have to fill with moss and zip tie. That's how short the dubia is now. I'm going to replant and extend. Micans is almost like 2 feet shorter. I think I'll do just a tiny extension and replant, but I'm not extending or chopping that one for a while. Like I said, I wasn't even planning on chopping it. I just wanted to get rid of the soil. Here you can see some props that I have made. I am going to be washing all the micans in soapy water, as well as all of these props here. I have lots of Syngonium albo propagations, and I have a ton of wet sticks. I also have Monstera dubia in here, lots of Epipremnum albo. I have really huge cuttings and a ton of wet sticks. And then those are the Syngonium albo cuts that I plan on keeping. I'm probably just gonna do my Syngonium albo in a basket, maybe with like a core pole or something, but I'm not putting that one back on a moss pole. And of course the hot mess of the bathroom. I forgot my varicosum was still in here. I'm actually gonna spray it off again because of the whole mealy thing once I get, you know, the big Jessenia and Marble Queen out. So since they're extremely overgrown, you can see Jessenia has overgrown that much. Look at all those dried aerial roots. That's so cool. And you can see her growth at the top has become smaller because there's nothing to root into. And all her growth towards the bottom, you know, is when I first put her on the pole. And a lot of it has dried up just because I've been very neglectful with keeping these poles watered. I may end up doing like a top cutting and just letting her regrow, and I don't know what I'll do with the top cutting. Maybe I'll just stick it in a vase of water or something. Same thing with Marble Queen. She has extended all the way up there. She's probably like 3 feet off the pole now, and her growth is pretty much, you know, reverting back to juvenile. I am just excited to get these poles finally chopped and onto growing again. And like I said, like I have so many poles, and I definitely am not doing any more poles, and it's been like an amazing part of my plant journey. Moss poles, I love them so much, and the bigger leaves, they are very high maintenance, and that's the only downside of moss poles because it requires so much work to keep them watered and chopping and extending. So I'm definitely at my limit of poles, and plants that I've taken off, you know, I'm not putting back on a moss pole. I'll do just like a core pole. They'll still size up, but obviously they won't get as huge with not as many roots growing inside of an actual substrate. So, but I don't really mind that. I just don't have the space for like, you know, 40 trees inside of this plant room and house. So I'm gonna pick my favorites, keep them on a pole, and as I continue on my plant journey, if I find some plants I just don't want on a pole anymore, I'll just like save a cutting. And that's a good thing now having a shop, is I don't feel bad because I'm not, out of all the cuttings that I take off, I can just root them, grow them out, and put them up for sale if someone wants to buy them. So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and get the pothos out of the shower, bring them out here, and we'll get to it. Oh my goodness. Look at my Jessenia. I hope you can see her okay. This is absolutely insane. I would love to just extend on. She hasn't downsized that much. Honestly, I could probably just do a nice extension and just chop her up a little bit higher. Usually when I do my pole chops, I don't like to chop more than half the pole. Any more than that, I'm worried that I'm not leaving enough roots to sustain this plant. Obviously, the less roots you have, the more shock and everything it can go through. I'm thinking I might just chop her kind of where my hand is, a little bit more than half. She's gonna be a huge pole again, and I'd have to do like another chop and extension very soon, but I love how well she's grown. Look at the beautiful yellow on her. I would say some of these leaves are definitely a foot long. I have a golden on a pole too, but it's on a clear pole, but I hope my golden fenestrates for me. I really want like an epipremnum to fenestrate, and the Jessenia and Marble Queen don't seem to want to fenestrate, I guess, as easily. Epipremnum aureums is what these are. They can fenestrate, but not as well as Epipremnum pinnatums, like the albo, Epipinnatum albo. You saw all those fenestrations. So these ones are a bit harder to fenestrate, but they can, like out in nature. These grow on trees and they fenestrate when they get super big and mature. So yes, we have Jessenia. Oh, she's huge. I'm gonna lean her up against the wall over here because I don't have their nursery pots, and just hope that I don't snap her. Actually, let me lay her down because I have a feeling I'm gonna snap her. I'm gonna spill some of the soil, but that's okay. We are gonna flatten her out. Whoa, that is insane. Here is Miss Marble Queen. She is crazy. I can't like let her go. Look at that vine. Look at all those dried aerial roots. Can you see? Right here. That is crazy. Look how thick that is. Like, it's hard to like that's my pinky. Do you see compared to my pinky? That is chunky. That is insane how thick this vine is. We're gonna lay them both down on the ground and I'll give you an overview. That one clearly is like overgrown. Look at all those roots coming out of there. When I had chopped her last, I don't know if you can see this extra vine that I ended. up like inserting, and all the leaves have died just because I've been underwatering this pole so much. It is insane how big she is. Look at that. That is crazy to me. It's crazy to me that I have been growing these plants, my Marble Queen, for as long as I have, because I started her on a pole in 20, was it 21? I think it was 21. She was one of my first moss poles that I did with my Monstera adansonii. And it's crazy looking back at the journey. I ever like wondered if I would completely take her off. I would definitely be very sad. I feel like she's part of my collection, and I don't know if I would ever take her off the pole. I would be very sad to lose her. I'm being stared at by a cat. Do you see her down there? I'm being stared at. Look at her staring at me. What you doing, jungle kitty? Huh? Star doesn't make an appearance in my videos very much. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where to chop these big girls. I honestly would love to extend on top already. It's just, I hate to cut too much away. Maybe I'll cut below this. It's gonna leave me with a very tall moss pole, but this is my favorite leaf that she ever gave me. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm cutting on the vine below this leaf. Which is, I know you guys can't really see, but I'm doing it. Ah, she's been chopped. Hi, Lulu. Did you wake up from your nap? Removing this stake. Ugh. All right, so we chopped her here. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut this wire all the way across so I can detach her from the base. Can't see. Ah! I honestly would love to have chopped more from her. What I might do is cut the top of her off to allow her to, so she's not so tall, because yeah, if I extend onto what's already here, you know, she's gonna be at the top of the extension. So I might cut the top off and root that in water, like somewhere at the top. And of course, like usually what I do is the bottom growth, you know, that's on the pole, like all this, I just propagate and take off. I've inserted the bottom part of the pole, you know, in previous videos, but it just gets to be a lot of work that way. And since I haven't actually chopped her before, I'm gonna try and chop away a little bit more than I normally do for this one. Just removing the stake again. I just have to cut through all these zip ties. I think I'm gonna cut like right here for this one. Oh, I forgot there are 2 vines here growing. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut right here on the vine, do a big cut through both of them. And then, what you doing? And then just cutting on the wire all the way around to separate the top and the bottom. So here is our bottom half here. First chop for Jessenia. Oh, it's gonna be fun propagating all these Jessenias. And here is our top, our big top section. Whoa. I think next what I'm gonna do is take all of the cuttings off the bottom, because I would really like to use this part of the pole to add on as an extension. That way I don't have to make like a new wire pole. I'm gonna try and salvage the metal that I already have. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to make one new one though, because yeah, these aren't gonna be long enough for the Marble Queen, but we'll see. It is storming. It's not even, is it 6 o'clock yet? No, it's only 5:40 and it's like pitch black outside. So if you hear like a rolling noise, it is thunder and it's lightning a ton too. I had to take a little bit of a break. I was doing my sale and responding to some messages. So I'm a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay. So down here on the floor, I still have everybody here. So I took the bottom part of the pole, and I'm about to start making all of my new poles. So let me flip this around and I'll give you a little bit of an update. So I took all the cuttings from the Jessenia and the Marble Queen, and they are here. So I didn't have too many Marble Queen, and then I had a lot more Jessenia just because I cut more of the pole away. So I still have to take care of all these here sometime. Look how thick some of these cuttings are. Look at that. Look how chunky. That is insane. So a lot of the roots that were in the pole are actually rotted. You could see all of these that are rotted. So what usually ends up happening is the leaf is probably going to yellow, and the new growth that comes out of the node here is obviously it's going to be juvenile, because there is no root system, one, to support to maintain like these huge leaves. And when you chop a plant that's been on a pole like this, the growth that comes in is basically just a tiny leaf. Now, coming from a bigger vine like this, it won't take too long to size up like significantly, but it's still going to be small compared to, look at this. This is like a moss pole vine compared to the bottom. Like, this is literally the same plant. Is that crazy or what? Look at that. Same plant, thicker vine. That's just insane to me. I actually might run to the dollar store tomorrow and see if I can get some more clear bends and some glass vases, because yeah, I don't have enough for all these. So yeah, I'm gonna get started making my new poles so that we can pot these up and do the extension. I've made poles, like wire poles, hundreds of times in all of my moss pole videos. So I'm not gonna like go into detail. I even have like a tutorial on how I make these. It's probably like a year and a half old or so. It's the same process. So yeah, I'm gonna make all my new poles off camera, and then I'll pop back on when we get ready to pot up and do the epipremnum and the rest. Like I said, I'm gonna do the rest off camera just so that this video isn't like crazy long, because yeah, I feel like I do the same process every time I chop a pole, so there's nothing really new, but I'll at least show you what I'm gonna do with the pothos. Oh, hi, Chai. Chai says hi. These guys normally get scared when it storms. They don't like the thunder. We don't like the thunder, huh? No, we don't like the thunder, huh, Chai? Yeah. Yeah. We don't like the thunder. All right, I'll check in with you guys here shortly. What are doing? What are doing? I just have to take the moss out of here, you know, so I can pot this part up. It just takes a while. I'm gonna lose this leaf. No, these are pretty leaves. You wanna help them now? You wanna help me? Yeah, you wanna help? Substrate is my aeroid mix, and I put a little extra pon just to add extra weight. So just a little bit. Got our clean washed pot, and we are going to add a little mix in here. One of the reasons you see a big pole with a small pot is because, you know, there's no roots, so there's no point in having like a huge pot. But because this plant is so big, this thing is going to root in here in no time. So I'll definitely have to upsize this plant. But I don't have like anything that works other than a 6-inch and a 6-inch ceramic. I'm going to have to try and find like a bigger pot and a bigger ceramic for some of these heavier poles. But this will work for roughly a 6-foot moss pole to stand up. Ooh. Shoot. I'm like, please don't snap. Please don't snap. I'm going to take one of these 3-foot extensions that I made, and we're going to go ahead and extend. And I'll have to decide if I want to try and chop her from the top. Oops, I need to swing this around the other way. Now I don't have this closed all the way, so I can slide this down over top. Ooh. Okay. Before I finish zip tying this, let me just somewhat secure this vine so that it doesn't break. Look at all those roots. That is just insane. She's at the top of the bowl again. And how do I want to do this? What her doing? Her playing with the zip tie. Her playing with zip tie. For some reason, the pole on the bottom is smaller than my normal poles that I make. So when I made this pole, I must have made it smaller accidentally. So I guess the next time I chop this, I'll be able to get rid of the smaller base. The reason that that's a little concerning is it's going to be a little bit heavier on top, especially with the bigger leaves. And if there's a little bit of a smaller base, it's going to be a little bit more top heavy. She's huge. I'm just working on zip tying the 2 poles together. So I forgot, so this bottom part is only like 1.5 feet, I would say, and the top, pole that I added on is 3 feet. So I had to actually add another 2-foot section to her, which I'm gonna have to do because, she's at the top, but I'll save that for another day because it would be pretty easy to add an extension on as long as I don't let it go like 3 feet past the pole like I did for this time, you know? All right. So until she grows some new roots in the soil, this is going to be a little unsteady because the roots, when they start rooting into the soil, they kind of grip around the pole and it gets like really snug down here, and then you can actually grab the pole and take it out of the pot without worrying about, you know, taking the pole out and the soil falling off. The roots really like secure all this, so I just have to be mindful I can't go like lifting her up out of here yet. We're gonna add the stake back to give her a little bit more support. And we're just gonna go somewhere back here. And just gonna zip tie this on. I was actually thinking I might use my, yes, I'm gonna use my string and tie her up, and then we'll do Marble Queen real quick. That is an adorable photo right there. She's so cute. Size reference. Cat. You're so cute, Lulu. Are you getting a photo? Oh, I don't know where my phone is. She's gonna move, darn it. That would have been an awesome photo. That's okay though. But yeah, here is Jessenia. Oh, what was that? Look at these leaves. Isn't that crazy? Oh, that is craziness. I'm trying not to move her too much because she's steady, but she's a little unsteady. And she's not even like, I would say she's not even 5 feet. Probably like 4 point, I don't know. 3, she's probably like at least 4.5 feet, maybe a little bit more. So at the bottom, you know, she's a little bit more full because I had 2 vines growing. I actually think when I put her in here, I had a total of 3, and the second one kind of ends right there. But like most of my poles, only 1 vine tends to grow, and you can kind of see where I tied all the strands. They're basically tied into one another. So it's like these 2 are tied together, those two, and it goes all the way down. It kind of lifts the big leaves up, especially since like this half was, you know, flying off the pole. So the leaves are kind of in a weird position. So once she gets some forward light, her leaves will kind of move kind of more forward and then more up. They'll kind of turn up too because I have an overhead grow light as well. But some of these leaves on her are beautiful, like that one and that one. Holy, that is a beautiful Jessenia leaf. And again, this one at the top, since it was off the pole, this one is significantly smaller, you see, compared to some of these. And so this one here is definitely going to be small. I'm going to wait to extend her anymore until she grows some roots down there and gets a little bit more stable. And then I could probably add like maybe a 2-foot extension, and then I'll probably chop her again at that point. I added some water through the top of her pole real quick, and then I added some water down there. So she is done. Okay. I wasn't thinking things through very well. I can't let her go because she's gonna snap. I got her base, oh my gosh, potted up. Making such a mess. So I have to add the extension on, but she's definitely too tall. Chopping moss poles seriously is an exercise. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop her from the top. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. We're gonna chop right here. We ready? We're gonna snap it. The girth, it's so chunky. Oh, that's okay. Down she goes. The growth is small anyway because it was so far off the pole. Oh, that would look so cute in a vase of water. You can actually see the new leaf is a bit affected too because She's been in the bathroom for over a week now. That is so cool. That's crazy. I might just stick her in the vase of water and keep her somewhere. Okay. All right, now for the extension. So basically same thing. We're gonna grab our 3-foot extension that we have here and extend over the top. Oh. Okay. Thank goodness the zip ties are near me. And all of my pole chops, my zip ties are like way across the other side of the room, and then I have to like somehow figure out how to get it. My battery's gonna die. I'm gonna finish her up, anchor her on, and add the stake and everything, and I'll be back to show you what she looks like. Oh shit. It's not good when you sit down because now I don't want to get up. I just got a new battery in my camera. It is now 5 till 10. I'm getting so tired. I have 4 more poles to do the exact same thing with. Obviously they aren't as big, so it's going to be a little bit easier. And then I have all those props to take care of. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot to do tomorrow. So I think what I'll do is pop back on here sometime tomorrow and show you like the final look at all the poles and everything in my room. And whatever I don't get finished tonight, I'll just finish up tomorrow and kind of like walk you through everything. But let me show you Marble Queen real quick. Okay, so side by side, obviously Marble Queen is like a 6-foot pole. That's like a normal height because, you know, I cut more off of Jessenia. And so since I cut the top of her off right here, it's gonna take a bit for that node to activate. Oh shoot. And you can actually see the auxiliary bud. It is right there, that little white blip. That's where a new leaf will emerge. And then once it actually emerges and starts to climb, I can attach it again. I honestly was thinking about going ahead and chopping the top off the Jessenia, but I think I'll wait a little bit. I think I'll wait and extend because she didn't size down too much. Whereas the Marble Queen, she sized down quite a bit, and that'll buy me some time before I have to do anything with her. And her leaves are a little crazy because she was off the pole like all the way down here, you know, so her leaves are all crazy looking. And then my favorite leaf that I liked is kind of turned up right now, this one here. So hopefully that one at the bottom hangs on a bit. It's crazy to think that that leaf was once at the top. And I added some water through her. You can see the bottom half is still a little bit dry, like there down. So I'm gonna have to dump some more water through the top. Here is her top half. I just stuck it in a vase of water. So where all these roots are, that's where she should hopefully grow in some new roots from that node there. I don't know if this plant will root that well with it having no roots and then it already having like 3 leaves, but I'll see. I'm gonna leave it in this vase. It looks cute, and if it decides to root, maybe I'll give that one to somebody. I don't know. I don't know what my plan is, but I'm not gonna probably keep this at all. But she's beautiful, and you can see how small these have gotten since she was off the pole for a really long time. So yeah, I will be back on sometime tomorrow to give you more of an update on what I did with the rest of my poles, and that'll be it for this video. So I will talk to you tomorrow. Hello, I'm back. It's been several days. I'm popping back on to finish up my moss pole. It's mostly the props that I have to take care of. They're actually starting to really dry out and stuff, so I don't know if some of them are salvageable, but I'm gonna go ahead and take care of them. I just got really busy, and then I had to start doing stuff for the shop and prep and then packing orders, and then I had to finish chopping the poles, clean up the bathroom and everything, and I was going to get to the props, and then the weekend kind of got away from me and I didn't have any time left. So yeah, we are now into the beginning of the week. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of these props really quick and get this video finished. And then I'll give you a look at my poles and what I did with them and everything. So let me take you over to my sink and we're gonna dampen some sphagnum moss, make a couple prop boxes for all the wet stick nodes. And I'm gonna have to scrounge up some glass jars for the water props. I feel like it's gonna rain again. It's clouding up. It has been raining and storming every day for like the last 2 weeks, easily. I don't think there's been a day that it hasn't stormed. So this is where we left the Marble Queen props. I don't know which ones are Jessenia now and which ones are Marble Queen, so I'm just gonna add them into a prop box together. So the cuttings here, I'm gonna stick in a glass of water. The wet sticks are, they're kind of like wrinkly and stuff now because they've just been sitting out for so long. So all the roots and everything are dried, but they're gonna grow in hopefully some healthy roots. I stopped at I think it was like the dollar, it wasn't Dollar Tree, Family Dollar. And I got a couple of prop boxes. I got one of these and I got 2 of these. I would have gotten more of this size, but they didn't have any. And these were kind of expensive for being at like the dollar store. I think I'll use this one for the Marble Queen and stuff because it's a bit smaller. So I'm just gonna fill this like halfway with dampened moss and then we'll add our props in. I am just gonna use like a Tupperware container. This is the moss I usually use for my poles, the Orchid Moss by Better Grow. When I'm making prop boxes, I like the consistency when you're dampening your moss. You want to wring it out to where like when you squeeze, nothing else is really dripping. So you want it damp but not soaking wet. So it's like nice and fluffy. Do you see how the consistency is? It's nice and fluffy. And you want to make sure that your lid is clear as well because you're gonna sit this under some light and you need this to be clear so light can penetrate through. And you can leave the lid closed. You can open if you want, just to check and give some airflow. But if you see mold, then your moss might be a little too damp and it might not be getting enough light. You can set this somewhere warm too, but it might be too damp if you're noticing mold. That's the growth point here. This is very wrinkly. That's where the new leaf will emerge. And so I usually just stick that side up down in here. I just kind of sit it on top like that because we are going to cover with a light layer of moss. And I just like go down the line. And even if the growth point isn't on top, like that's totally fine because it'll eventually grow like out through the moss up to the top where the light's coming from. And I don't know how many of these are gonna do that well. Some of these that have some dried, crusty roots, I'm just gonna go ahead and trim those off. Like that. That's what that's looking like. I got all the wet sticks in here. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but I have so many wet sticks that at least I can keep these contained into one container. So what I'm gonna do is add a light layer of moss over top. Not wet at all, and I'm just gonna loosely add a little bit on there. Just like that. And this is finished. We shouldn't have to do anything with this at all, besides keep it under light. I'm gonna put a little date and label on the top of this or on the side so I know what this is, so I don't get them confused. But as long as it's airtight like this, it'll pretty much maintain itself. And it's gonna get like 100% humidity, and once it's under good light, you'll start to notice like all the condensation and everything. And yeah, give it some time and these guys will start rooting and growing. Now, even though some of these were like really thick, like, you know, these here are so thick, the growth that comes out of here is still gonna be juvenile. So they're basically just like any wet stick. It just doesn't have the root system to support like these huge leaves, so they're not gonna grow in huge. And I think these guys here, we're gonna go ahead. I don't have any vases of water left. I don't know if that's gonna fit down in there. I wanna see if I can find a bigger vase actually for these guys, because we have 4 of these. So cute, our little propagation box. I'm gonna set this on the, in the plant room, plant shelves, or in the other room, like on the bottom. Since it's covered, I like to put things that are covered on the bottom shelf because the cats have access to that room. It's gonna be fun watching these sprout their little leaves. I don't think Marble Queen Jessenia take a long time to grow from a wet stick, because some plants take a really long time, but I don't think these are one. These we will grow out. It'd be nice if these big beautiful leaves stayed on. They could, whenever the plant decides to root and sprout new growth, it uses a lot of energy for that, and so usually these big leaves end up yellowing off in my experience, unless it has like a pretty good root system. If the huge leaf decides to stay on, we'll see, but I'm not expecting it to. So yeah, I'll just have like Marble Queen propagations from here. But the thing is, since it's grown from a big chunk, the growth that comes in, like, it should do better than like a more juvenile Monstera, not Monstera, Ephraimum Pothos, just because it came from a more mature one. It'll start out small, but I feel like it won't take that long to size up again. It's still a very much hot mess over here because I haven't cleaned my plant room closet yet. I might actually work on that later tonight because these are all of my stuff. My DIY pond, my stratum, my soil mix. I have 2 bags of lechuza that are new. I just need to rinse those and store them in like a bigger container. And I bought a new bag of stratum on Prime. It was like, the smaller bag was cheaper than buying a bigger bag. So I just bought a small one just to tie me over for a little bit. And then I washed a lot of these pots out. Those are all clean. I have to organize all those and these back together in my plant room. This pond here is all used dirty pond when I did my alocasia day. So that I need to take outside and rinse and boil and everything and sterilize. Here's the top part of my Marble Queen. I have her just in a vase of water. And then I put a moss pole here. This is the dubia just because I don't have any room for it. And then I moved my ring of fire out here, which I kind of like. It's just under one 15-watt Sansi, so it's not a ton of light, but it's okay for right now. And this is everything that I have to take care of. I have micans, I have my Epipinatum albo. I think that's these two. And then I have all my Syngonium, which you can see a lot of these are starting to yellow. I need to get these in water ASAP. And then I have, oh wait, shoot, is that more? Oh no, I thought I did all the, oh, these are my Jessenia then. So that must have just been Marble Queen that I did. Okay, these are all my Jessenia props. Or maybe those were Jessenia wet sticks and these are all the ones with the leaves. So these I need to stick in water. So I have that, I have 2 things of Syngonium albo, I think. Yes, and then I should have Monstera dubia as well because I did chop dubia. Yes, I see dubia in there. So yeah, I have a lot of props to take care of. So I'm gonna work on that and I'll kind of show you what I end up doing. All right, I think I have most of the props done. I'll kind of give you an overview and I'll show you my moss poles really quick, but I managed to find enough glass vases for a lot of the props, and then I used the rest of the prop containers for wet sticks. Some of the plants I just cut the leaves off just so I could just root them as a wet stick. Mostly the Syngonium albo because I know the Syngonium, the leaves usually yellow, so there's no point in keeping the leaves off. I'm just gonna root and grow them as a wet stick. The Jessenia here is looking a little bit sad, but they'll perk up once they get some water. That's all the Syngonium albo I have left. That's mine that I'm keeping. I'm just gonna restart on like a core pole or something. I'm not going to do a moss pole. And then those are the Epipinatum albo, the Monstera dubia. I showed you the Pothos, the Marble Queen. And then that is filled with wet sticks there. I put micans in that top one, and then that is filled with wet sticks. So I guess I'm gonna keep all the props on that table right now until I can make room for them. I'm gonna have to do some rearranging and stuff, but I'm just gonna leave them over there. These are the poles that I put right here for now. I have the micans, the Epipinatum albo, and then the Monstera siltepecana. I extended those 2 and chopped them. It was so nice to chop my epi for the first time. So I have all those props. And then the micans, I chopped the base away, like the bottom half, just in case there were mealies. I didn't want to deal with that. So I'm not going to extend it for right now. I think I'm just going to leave it. I kind of like how short and petite it is. So those 3 are right there for now. Here is the overview in my plant room. It is very crowded in here. And here on the end is Marble Queen and Jessenia right there. You guys saw me chop those. And those 3 in the back are gonna get chopped next. I swear I chopped those not that long ago. And yeah, by the time like these ones that I just chopped are done, it's time to do the other ones again. So I have Glorious, Esqueleto, and Majestic there in the back. So yeah, those I'm gonna have to do at some point soon because they're already like at the top of their poles and stuff again. But everyone is so squished here, so I don't know what my plan is with these poles. I don't know if I'm gonna keep all these on poles down the road, but we'll see. We'll see how tired I get with like chopping and extending and everything, but they're a lot of work. They are a lot of work. They're beautiful, but they're a lot of work. But thank you for watching. I see a storm coming in. I have to run to the UPS store really quick and drop a few packages off and get my mess cleaned up. But yeah, I'll keep you updated on the props and everything. Like I said, I'm gonna root all the wet sticks, and then eventually as I have like small plants available for sale, I'll list them. But yeah, I'm gonna have a ton of props from all that. And then, you know, for my alocasia day, I had a ton of props, alocasia corms. So here in some time, I'm gonna be having a lot of props. But yeah, if you have any questions about anything I did, just let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.